Howdy y'all, welcome back. So on a recent chit-chatting video, I asked you guys if you would like me to do a game closing analysis video, and I got enough positive feedback that I decided to do it. So with that said, if you're here to watch me scratch, I won't be scratching any tickets on this video. So I don't want anybody to feel deceived and say, hey, I came here for the scratching. There isn't any. I'm going to thumbs down the video. Please feel free to exit the video if that's what you came for. I will still predominantly do scratch-offs on the channel, but from time to time, I'm going to be doing these chit-chatting videos where I just talk to you guys about various lottery-related things, mostly Texas lottery. So in those videos, I won't be scratching. I do hope that you'll stay just because this information I think is informative and fun for everybody, and educational more than anything. However, feel free, if you could care less for this kind of stuff, to just exit the video. For those of you that have decided to stay, I've decided to do this for two reasons. Number one, I want to make sure everybody knows you can find this information. If the Texas Lottery is transparent enough to provide it to us, the players, I think we should all know that it's there and know how to review it. Number two, and this is probably the most important thing, recently I've just seen some comments and then throughout my channel and other channels where people get discouraged because they're playing the lottery with rent money or funds that they really can't afford to lose, or they're kind of overdoing it a little bit and they end up regretting the amount of money that they've played. So I kind of want to have some tangible documentation that talks about, what that money looks like and why, as players, we should only do this if it's fun. If we're doing it simply because it's fun to us, sure, we all like to win money, but we shouldn't be spending money that should be spent on things like, our day-to-day expenses, because more often than not, that's not going to end well. And I just kind of feel like this could serve as a, sobering reminder of that to people that may be, often doing that because they think, this is the $20 that's going to win me that huge prize. I mean, yeah, sometimes somebody's going to get lucky enough to find that jackpot prize by investing very little, but more often than not, that's not the case. And the best way, I think, to see that is by looking at some figures. So those are the two primary reasons. Now, this video was requested for the Funky Fives. I do intend to do the Funky Fives game analysis closing report video if you guys like this one and I get enough positive feedback. I just think that to start, this is a good ticket to start with. So number one, where can you find this information? Once you're on the Texas Lottery website and you're reviewing scratch tickets, when a specific ticket has gone through the game closing analysis, you'll find that report down where the game procedures and game tables are located. You just click on it and that takes you to a PDF. So the PDF is what we're going to look at. Now let me start by telling you I don't work for the lottery, obviously, because I play and it would be against the law if I played and worked for them. All the information on here is based on what I understand it to be, so I'm not saying I'm an expert or I'm a pro, but based on my reviews of it, what I go over this video is what I understand the reality of it to be. We won't be going over the entire report because it is very long, and obviously they don't have instructions, and it's intended to be for the Lottery Commission and their auditors to review this and understand what it is, not necessarily 100% clear to us, the players. So I'm just going to go over the pieces that I think are the most informational and the things that I think are the most important on the report. So number one at the top is the summary, where you can find information about the type of game, how long it's been out, when it started, how many tickets were printed, the percentage that was actually sold, how many are still in the warehouse. That way, if you want, you can do some math and figure things out. I think the first thing I want to mention about this ticket is if we look at the amount of tickets that were printed, that was 6,102,825 tickets. Every one of those is a winner because that's the concept behind this Money Mania ticket, is that every ticket was a winner of at least $5. So it didn't mean you weren't losing money. You very well could have lost money. I know I did. But every ticket did win at least something back. That means, with that said, if you do the math, $20 times 6,102,825 tickets, that's about $122 million, more or less, that the Texas Lottery would have earned, not necessarily revenue, but how much would have been paid into that game by players if all of the tickets were bought. And we'll break that down just a little bit more, but keep that in mind. When this game was printed, the amount of tickets printed, it was the intention that when they were all sold, more than $122 million would be spent by players to play this ticket. $122 million. That's just one of about 30 different games or more that are currently out in the Texas Lottery. And it had a pretty short life cycle. It's only 40 weeks. That's less than a year on a big ticket. Number two top prizes are still remaining on this ticket. They're pulling it when only one of the 3 top prizes has been sold. $122 million, and only $1.5 million of that was going to top prizes. This is why I say please make sure you're only playing with money you can afford to lose, because look at how staggering and how minimal the odds are that you're going to find that. Today, there's still 100,000, more than 100,000 packs for this ticket in the warehouse. These 2 tickets could very well be in the warehouse, because if you compare that to the amount of active packs that are actually out there, 2,050, that is minuscule compared to how many are still sitting in their warehouse. And only about 56% of the tickets were actually sold. Well, all that sounds great, but let's look at what that means financially. All right, it cost the Texas Lottery just under $211,000 to print these tickets. That was the direct cost to them just for printing, not in payouts. In payouts, it cost them a little bit less than $50.5 million. This is how much they've actually paid out for this specific game. Just a little less than $50.5 million. All right, now here's where we talk revenue and sales. So since this game has been out, they have sold just under $68.5 million worth of these tickets. $68.5 million worth of these tickets. They've paid about $50.5 million plus the $210,000 it costed them to print. For this specific or particular ticket, the Texas Lottery had a revenue of $17,780,532. Just under $18 million in revenue. Obviously, that's not all complete profit because they do have employees they have to pay. There's a lot of cost of business, but I guarantee you it's nowhere near $18 million. I bring up this point because these figures only account for a little bit less than 60% of tickets being sold. And they made roughly $18 million. A lot of that has to do with the fact that $1 million in top prizes is still somewhere out there, probably in the warehouse. Had they have gone all the way through, they would have had more like $23 million in revenue. A little bit more, actually, in revenue off of this one game. So that's, I think, very sobering information. Could they afford to give us more as far as prizes go? Absolutely. Could they afford to give us maybe more mid-sized prizes or even more top prizes or, a combination of both? Absolutely. Will they? Probably not, because every time they release these tickets, we still continue to buy them. And I, for one, will tell you, and I'll be honest with you, even if the odds get worse, I will pay for it. Mainly because I enjoy this. It's still fun to me. If it stops being fun, that's when I stop playing. But keep that in mind. These tickets, these odds, their strategies are intended for them to profit, for their business. Now, one of the good things about Texas Lottery is that but some of this money does go to benefit veterans and benefit education funds. So some of it does go to good causes. I don't have those figures in front of me, but I guarantee you it's nowhere near $18 million per game. That's a lot of money that they profit. So, when you spend your hard-earned money, just keep in mind that this is a business and their intention is to make a profit, not necessarily line our pockets with money. It's nice to get a little bit of extra money, but please play responsibly and don't, give them more of your money than you can afford to. Anyway, the other two things that I think are cool about this report is it tells you why they want to pull it. Here they're listing that the positive benefit is that it'll open up bin space for the vendors. So for the stores that sell it, they'll have tickets that want to be purchased rather than tickets that are just sitting there and not selling. This is when they decide to close a ticket, is because they're just not selling as much as the new tickets, which releases their financial burden because they can invest that into tickets that will sell, and then the store gets to make money a little bit faster. They always list still valuable top prizes remaining in this game as an intangible benefit. But I want to see the game analysis notations. Let's go there because I think that's important. So you guys can see why I picked this ticket. When the analysis was done, the recommendation was to recommend the closing of the above gamed report for these reasons. Texas staff and the products department recommends closing this game for business reasons to make room for another game using this unique price structure. Staff believes there should not be two games in the market with this price structure. That's because they're getting ready to release another ticket by another name with the same concept of Money Mania, where every ticket is a winner of at least $5. So the lottery happens to believe they shouldn't have two of the same ticket. Let's pull it. That way we only have one. I guess I can see that. However, as a player, I think I would appreciate it more if they would take the two remaining top prizes that were never sold on the other ticket and rolled it into the new ticket, so that instead of 3 top prizes, we could have 5 or 6 of them. I mean, they did make enough of a profit that I think they should do that. Obviously, they're probably not going to because, like I said, they are a business and they're in it to make money and not necessarily give it all to us. So anyway, that kind of concludes the game analysis report. I wanted to just review these figures with you guys. These are available for any game that the Texas Lottery decides to close, whether they're closing it because all of the top prizes have been sold, or whether they're closing it early because top prizes are still remaining and they have other reasons. You can find that information online, so I do encourage you to do it. For me, I always knew they made a lot of money, but when I started looking at these figures, this was definitely the sobering point for me. And I think that drives a big point home. So let me know what you think. Share your thoughts below. What do you think about these figures? If the odds continue to get worse, will you continue to play? Do you not play? Do you just watch this because you enjoy watching us do scratch tickets, but you yourself aren't a player? I just kind of want to know what everybody thinks about the report as a whole, but specifically these project margins and profit margins and information of that sort. Thank you guys very much for watching. I sure do appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Bye.